Hello everyone, this video is about our new plugin for CompuTec ProcessForce. It's called BulkChange, and it is a plugin which helps you update multiple bills of materials or BOMs simultaneously. In this video, I'm just going to give you a very quick overview just to show you how it works. The main advantage of the plugin is that it makes it incredibly fast and easy to update a large number of BOMs. Because it automates this process and removes the need to update each BOM manually, it really minimises the chance of any BOMs getting missed during the update process or any inconsistencies or mistakes being made. Today, I really just want to give you an idea of how the plugin works, so we won't explore all of the options and possibilities for now, but I'll try to give some information about some of the options the plugin has as we go along. What we're going to do is we're going to imagine a scenario where you have discovered a new ingredient that will improve the quality of your final good or is cheaper than the current ingredient that you use. We'll imagine that you use this ingredient in several products, so we want to change the bills of materials for all of those products. The very first thing we have to do is open the BulkChange plugin, which is very straightforward. You need to have CompuTec App Engine activated in General Settings in SAP Business One. And then if you have BulkChange installed, you can just open it from the menu at the side in SAP Business One. Or alternatively, you could also open it from the App Engine Launchpad. Now that we have BulkChange open, on the landing page, we see a list of so-called scenarios. A scenario is simply a setup of what we want to change and where we want to change it. So to start with, we are going to create a new scenario and we'll just give it a name. And the first tab that we see is the selected BOMs tab. And this is where we define which bills of materials we want to be updated. In this tab, you can see quite a variety of filters which are to help you find all the BOMs that you need in your system. This gives you quite a lot of different options and criteria that you can use to track down those BOMs that you need. But today, we just want to replace an item on every BOM that it appears on. So we'll select that item, Active Item 1, here in the item filter. Click on Add BOMs, and the 4 BOMs that contain Active Item 1 appear on the list at the bottom of the screen. So since we want to update all of these BOMs, I'll just select all of them, but you can also select and deselect the BOMs individually using the checkboxes. If we want to keep these bills of materials in their current form in the system too, instead of updating these BOMs, we can select the New BOM Revision checkbox, and we'll get new revisions of these BOMs that are identical to those on the list, with the exception of the changes that we define in our BulkChange scenario. So essentially, your old BOMs and the revised BOMs will then coexist in the system. We can define new revision code from here too. And now that we've chosen our BOMs, all of these BOMs that we've selected here will be available to us during the next part of the process. Using BulkChange, it's possible to update items, including co-products and scrap, and also routings, operations, and resources on your bill of materials. Depending on which we want to change, we move to the appropriate tab at the top. Since we want to change an item, we'll go to the Items tab here. In this tab, you can see some filters here, which you can use. We'll come back to that in a moment. But if you click the Use Filter button without selecting any of the filters, you will get a list of all the items on all of the bills of materials that we selected in the previous step. On this list, we have 18 entries, but we're really only interested in some of those, i.e. just those instances of Active Item 1, which is the one that we want to change. So I'll use the filter at the top, just so that the list will only show me Active Item 1. And now we have a much simpler list, showing this item appearing on those 4 bills of materials that we selected earlier. We want to replace Active Item 1 with another item, so we will choose Replace here from these checkboxes. But as you can see, you can also use BulkChange to add new elements to your bills of materials and also to remove elements from your bills of materials too. To define the replacing item, we choose Specify and Confirm, and select the item code for the item that we want to replace Active Item 1 with. And we also need to select the revision here too. You can see that it's also possible to define other factors and properties in this window, but we won't bother with that today. And now we can see the changes to be made on our list of items. We did this for all of the items on our list at once, just there, but you can also define the changes for each item on the list individually as well. And now that we have everything set up to reflect the changes we want to make, we can press the Add button to create this new scenario. And you can see now that our scenario is on the new scenario list. We'll just open the scenario back up again, and it looks as if everything is in order here. The bombs we selected are still listed on the Selected Bombs tab, as are the items that we want to change in the Items tab. If at this stage you did decide you wanted to change something, you could click on the Edit button and you could change anything you wanted. But since I'm quite happy with this, I'm going to prepare this scenario. While the scenario is being prepared, it will appear on the processing list. But as this is not a very complex scenario or a scenario with a large number of bombs, it will appear on the prepared list pretty much instantly, as you can see. I'll open the scenario again to do some final checks before we execute it. After a scenario has been prepared, the Proposed Changes tab is activated. And in that tab, we have a table which provides us with a summary of all the changes that BulkChange will perform. So we have all 4 of the bombs that will be changed. Because we decided we wanted to implement the changes as new revisions, in the action column we have Add here. If we expand one of the bills of materials, we'll be able to see more details about the changes we defined in the scenario. By clicking on the green dots, we can also see what the old item was and what it will be changed to. And basically, it looks the same for each bomb here. What I will say is that if you're doing this in a real production environment, it's absolutely crucial to check this table through very carefully before proceeding. This is the last point in the process where you can still go back and edit the scenario. If we proceed from here, the changes will be performed on your database, and it might be a considerable inconvenience to fix any mistakes after that. So if we're happy with everything on the table, we can now execute the scenario. And when that's been done, our scenario will appear on the Executed Scenarios list. We can open it again and check that everything worked okay. Again, this is done in the Proposed Changes tab, where we now have an Update Status column. And we can see that all of our changes have been carried out successfully here. Just to finish off, I'll show you a couple of screenshots from SAP Business One. We have our old bill of materials on the left and new one, which was added to our database on the right. You can see that the new one has the new revision code, which we defined in BulkChange, and also that active item 1 has been replaced with the replacement item.